up here. But well, what's up, guys? Hope everyone's well, or hope everyone's doing good. Welcome back here to another update, my friends, on Milton, which is now a Category 1 storm. She is officially a Category 1 here. Let's go ahead and get this up and going here. But anyways, my friends, what's up, everybody? Welcome back here to another live stream, my friends. Here we go. This is now showing we're live. Let me go ahead and put this here real quickly, and we'll be good to go. But what's up, everybody? Hope everyone's doing good. Like I said, we got ourselves some new updates here on the storm here for you guys. It does look like this storm is going to be quite a whopper for the western coast of Florida, unfortunately. We need to be bracing for the storm immediately because this thing is, definitely getting a little nasty. Like I mentioned, she is now officially a Category 1 hurricane, sustained winds of 80 miles an hour. Central lows down to 988 millibars and rapidly dropping. Let's go and take a quick little look here at the storm before we really dive on into it. As you can see, it is looking very, very sharp. It is definitely looking like a pretty nasty storm. There's your center. That's the core. There's no visible eye, but you can actually see those interconvective bursts really spiraling around that center there. The storm is really getting a hold of itself here overall. What's up, Garrett? What's up, Reagan? What's up, Rosalind? Or Rosalind? I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Is it Rosalind? It might be. I'm terrible with names, so please forgive me for that. But what's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing good. But yeah, so that's the storm right now. She's looking a little nasty. Once again, we are currently a hurricane. We're gonna hop over here to Milton's latest vitals. Right now, we are up to 80 sustained. Now, she's actually forecasted to be a major hurricane, so a Category 3 hurricane here, basically for the afternoon of Monday. So tomorrow afternoon, the storm is actually now forecasted to be a Category 3 storm. We do have tropical storm warnings in effect for the northern Yucatan Peninsula. You guys are going to be experiencing some tropical storm conditions. So the blue indicates warnings, meaning that, yes, you will be seeing tropical storm conditions. The little yellow there is a watch saying, conditions are possible. Now, you might have noticed how essentially we do not have any watches or any warnings yet for Florida. Now, we'll probably get those tomorrow night, I'm thinking. So we'll probably be getting some of those hurricane watches, some of those tropical storm watches tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to have to be looking out there for that. We'll probably get those, like I said, later on tomorrow, so we'll keep y'all posted. Let's see here. What's up, Jonathan? Hope you're doing good. Rasheen, is that it? Rasheen? Rosheen? I'm so sorry. Like I said, terrible name. What's up, Tempest? What's up, Kristen? Let's see. What's up, Troll King? Hope you're doing good. What's up, Daniel? Do I think it's going to land in the U.S.? Yeah, Daniel. So this thing is going to be making landfall here in Florida. We have a better idea in terms of where the storm is ultimately going to end up here. We kind of ruled out portions of the northern Big Bend here, as well as down there towards the Keys. More than likely, the way that the model guidance is showing, more than likely, we're going to have a landfall between Tampa and Cape Coral. I think between those two areas is more than likely where that storm is going to make landfall. Of course, it's still possible we could wiggle a little bit until we get there. It is a possibility that we could have that center go through a lot of the west coast. I mean, which regardless is still going to cause a lot of impacts for pretty much all of central Florida, southern Florida, and northern Florida. A lot of Florida is going to feel this regardless of where the exact thing goes. So that is that. We're still kind of working out the track regarding everything here. Here's the latest hurricane models. This is the 18 Zulu spaghetti plots here. You guys are probably pretty used to spaghetti plots, especially if you live down here for a while. You're very used to them. If you don't know, they're basically a bunch of weather models, and they plot the track of where they think the storm could go. And as you can see, that there's a bit of a gap still, indicating that there is still a bit of uncertainty in terms of exactly where the center or the eye of the storm is going to make landfall, where it's going to go over land. That's still kind of unknown. But like we were mentioning, it looks like Tampa is kind of in the statistical average of those models. So obviously, whenever it comes to it, this thing could be a big problem for Tampa Bay. A lot of those western coastal areas are just going to really be feeling the storm here. Let's see here. What's the chance of it losing steam before it makes landfall? So it might actually lose a bit of strength here. Let's go ahead and hop our way over here to models. Now, this is actually some of the good news with the storm. However, regardless, it's still going to hit hard. That's the unfortunate thing. So obviously, here's the latest GFS. This is the 12 Zulu. The 12 Zulu actually pulls this thing up pretty far to the north, just above Tampa. But yes, still Tampa would be getting slammed by those, by kind of those middle and inner bands there. And then of course going up through the Big Bend region there, and then kind of pulling its way here to the east overall. So that's that. But remember, that's just one model run. There's other models that say otherwise. Here is Euro. European model shows the thing literally making landfall right next to Tampa. The pressure is a lot lower, but that's just Euro doing Euro stuff. But anyway, so that's what we're seeing here. And right now we actually have a little bit of a low pressure system just off the coast of Florida. It's actually a secondary low. This is just causing a bunch of rain. That's why we're getting a lot of rain out there. And then of course we have ourselves, the main event, the main hurricane coming up here for the 9th, which is going to make landfall somewhere now around the evening of Wednesday the 9th. That's kind of when we're expecting that. Let's see here. There's a tornado risk with every hurricane. Yes, so there will be a tornado risk here once that storm approaches Florida. There will definitely be a tornado threat that we do need to watch out for. We'll get into that whenever the event gets closer. But yeah, just remember that tornadoes will be a possibility. What's up, Calvin? Hope you're doing good. Do I know what time it could make landfall, says Reagan? So it looks like, the models are still a little iffy on the timing here. It looks like the evening of Wednesday is going to be probably the time of landfall overall. So Wednesday evening is kind of what we're looking at. No tabletop. You do not have to watch out for this one. This one is not going to really be a problem, I don't think, for your area. I mean, you're all the way up in North Carolina. The storm is likely just going to continue going to the east here. This model has it kind of going mostly north, or going more north than a lot of these other models do. But no, Wilmington, I mean, this is not going to be that much of a problem for you guys, we don't think. I mean, because, yeah, more than likely that storm's just going to continue rolling out into the Atlantic and just die out. So, no, you don't need to worry about it. What's up, Raven? Hope you're doing good. Glad to have you here. Let's see here. What's up, Carl? Hope you're doing good. Seeing the GFS looking more north than the spaghetti models. Thoughts on this? So, yeah, it could just be a temporary fluctuation. GFS has done that yesterday, too. If we go back to some of yesterday's runs, here's the 18 Zulu of GFS. You see how it did go up in the Big Bend here. And then by the 0 Zulu run, you can actually see it was a lot more closer to Tampa Bay. So, obviously, it could just be a temporary fluctuation in the models. You remember, these are one model. This is one run. And there's a really good shot that this next run that comes out, the 18 Zulu GFS, could be a lot different. It certainly is a possibility. Raven says, how am I doing? I'm doing good. I'm preparing for the storm. I'm here in Lakeland, which I am right here. Let's see, this is Lakeland. I'm kind of in the path of this guy, so I've been kind of preparing for it, which everybody needs to be doing if you're in the path here. Is it going to directly hit Tampa? That cannot be ruled out at this time. It does seem possible that Tampa could get a direct impact, unfortunately. Now, there is models that, show it going north, like GFS. There's a couple models that have it going more further south, like CMC. There is a handful of models that have it going above and below Tampa, but Tampa's kind of in the middle of the heat. So the dynamical average of these tracks does equal right around Tampa. Does not mean that it will make a direct landfall in Tampa. Regardless, I think that Tampa's definitely going to feel some nasty effects. So if you're in Tampa, you need to prepare. Regardless, it's going to hit you hard. Worst case scenario obviously would be it hitting directly over the Tampa Bay, but that's just, not really too fully known yet. We'll learn a lot more about that, the day before the storm hits. We'll learn a lot about Monday and Tuesday, so tomorrow night, we'll learn a lot more about it. Let's see. My aunt already evacuated from Tampa. Good. Good. Absolutely good. What's my best guess on where it's going to land? So I believe it's going to be going between Tampa and Cape Coral. I see most of the guidance, roughly in these areas here. Now, of course, like I said, it could go a little further south. It could go a little bit north. That is still a possibility. But that's, you're asking for my opinion. Based off of what I've been seeing, these are kind of those average areas. So I would say maybe near Sarasota, could be a potential landfall point. That's still a little far to be for sure, but that's just my opinion. Take that with however you want. But, like I mentioned, it's still unknown for sure where it's going to go. Let's see. Now, strength. That's another thing we need to talk about. So how strong is the storm going to be? Well, there's a good shot that this thing is going to be a Category 3 on landfall. Matter of fact, that's actually what it's forecasted to be as of now. We're going to likely have this storm sustained around 120 miles an hour, as we approach the landfall there. So here's the guidance from the hurricane spaghetti models here. That's the latest guidance. Now, you notice a couple of them have this thing getting pretty crazy. Now, the good news is that the storm is actually going to be on a bit of a downtrend as it heads towards Florida due to some drier air getting into that system. But, there is some more models supporting the possibility of this thing, shooting up into Cat 3, maybe Cat 4 realm, once we approach our way just above the Yucatan. So if we take a look here over at the GFS model we'll just use that as an example. Let's pull up the Western Atlantic view. So there you go. There's the Yucatan Peninsula there. So there's Milton. You can see that it just kind of brushes by the Yucatan here. There overall. So that is basically what we're looking at. So obviously we are going to be rapidly strengthening once we work our way down in time, and then we're going to start to probably weaken maybe a little bit. This model doesn't pick up a whole lot on that, but there is going to be some drier air. You can indicate here in the brownish color that could be wrapping its way around that storm. Now unfortunately there's a possibility that will not happen until after the storm is already going on. That's kind of what the GFS is picking up on. So you can see that there's a lot of moisture indicated in that greenish blue color. And then, of course, once we make that landfall, then the dry air starts to kind of uppercut the storm here. So obviously it's there is a little bit of uncertainty of when that dry air will get into it. But once that dry air starts to peek its way into that southern part of the storm, that is whenever that storm could start to weaken a little bit. Obviously, I hope that drier air gets to it earlier. That would mean that the storm would probably be a little bit weaker by the time it gets here. But until then, it's just going to be continuing to strengthen. Our waters out here are extremely warm, 29, 30 degrees Celsius waters, upper 80 Fahrenheit. Very, very warm out there, in which, that is not the only factor. Got wind shear. There's not going to be much wind shear, so winds in the atmosphere that could, rip the storm apart. Not really expecting that. So there's not much wind shear, which is bad in our case, meaning that the storm doesn't have anything to really fight against. The dry air is going to be some point an issue, possibly. And then, of course, like I mentioned, the warm waters is already good enough for everything, so we don't need to worry about that, being a problem for the storm out there. Let's see here. But anyway, so that's that. That's what we're looking at. Just me says, thanks for answering. No problem. Like I said, we're here for you guys. Once again, I do want you all to really be preparing for this thing. If you haven't already, you guys definitely need to be watching this closely. If you live in the main peninsula of Florida, you need to be preparing for this thing. I mean, this is going to be a heavy hitter, not just for the main area, but for around Florida. The Panhandle, you guys are a bit lucky. You guys aren't really going to be feeling this that much. You might notice a little bit of gusty winds up in some of those spots, but you should be away from those main impacts, thankfully. However, my folks that are up here in the main peninsula part of Florida, you guys are going to be feeling it heavy, even on those inland places. Now, of course, my inland folks, people who's on the inner portion of Florida, you're not going to be having any coastal problems, obviously, because you're not on the coast. So that's good news. You don't got to worry about that surge or anything. However, the thing is that those winds are going to still persist even into some of those inner portions of the region, which that absolutely could cause You know, a lot of strong winds still in the you know, the central portions of the peninsula. So that's that. That is what we need to look out there for. Let's see here. Athena says, howdy, Andrew. It looks like Milton is going right through my town and during the day for once. Let's see here. The gift that keeps giving. Yeah. Thanks for letting us know. You're very welcome, my friend. And once again, like I mentioned, you know, the exact, you know, the landfall point, that's still kind of unknown. I mean, like I said, there still is a pretty big cone of uncertainty here. So that, you know, theoretically, the eye of the storm could make landfall anywhere in this realm. Obviously, once we get closer to the event, you know, as that storm gets closer to us, we're going to be able to narrow some of those places out, and you know, obviously figure out more precisely of where the thing is going to go. So that still is a little bit unknown right now, but there is a lot of models. The majority of the models has it making landfall right now between Tampa, like Sarasota, and you know, some of those regions out there along the west central coast of Florida. That does seem to be the most likely area here. You know, like I said, it does seem to be the most likely area here of landfall. So that's just, you know, something that we need to be looking out for. So, you know, really prepare. Absolutely. Make sure that you guys are preparing now. You know, you don't want to wait till last minute. I mean, things are already flying off the shelves. My mom went yesterday to prepare for it, and she said that it was yesterday. It was crazy. They were out of water, and they brought out a crate, and everybody was going to grab it. So, you know, definitely make sure you prepare early. You don't want to wait till last minute and then freak out because you don't have anything. So, you know, like I said, I'm just looking out for you guys. I'm giving you all realistic scenarios here. But yeah, so that's, you know, just please keep an eye out there for that overall. All right, rainfall potential. Here's the latest WPC update here. We got ourselves a good amount of rain expected. Now, they did update the totals. Unfortunately, Orlando is looking around 6 to 8 inches overall of rainfall. Let's see here. Kathleen coming in with a $25 Cash App donation. Thank you so much, Kathleen. I appreciate that. That is very, very sweet of you, my friend. Thank you for the support. That'll help us a lot. So thank you. Big shout out goes to you, Kathleen. Thank you for the 25 on Cash App. I really, really appreciate that. That is very, very sweet of you. But yeah, so like I mentioned, Tampa Bay, Orlando, a good 6 to 8 inches of rainfall is expected out there. The yellow here is indicating a good, you know, 4 to 6 inches out there. Whenever it comes to these orange areas, so we have two shades of orange. We have the light orange, we have the dark orange. The dark orange, we're talking a good 8 to 12 inches. So up there near like Daytona Beach, you know, could see a good 8 to 12 inches of rain with this one. Tampa Bay itself, you know, could seriously, Clearwater, you know, some of those regions out there could see a lot of rain. You know, we're talking potentially 8 to 12 inches in those areas too. Orlando, Tampa, you know, Tampa Bay, on the eastern Tampa Bay side, 6 to 8 inches is expected. Lakeland, where I'm at here, we're going to be seeing about 6 to 8 inches. They upped our totals here as well. Miami down there could pick up a good 4 to 6 up there. Jacksonville, same thing, 4 to 6. You can see Tallahassee's not going to get it. That's what I'm saying. The Panhandle, you guys are lucky. You know, this is not a common track for hurricanes. So you guys are really lucking out on this one, it looks like. You know, my friends up there towards, you know, like Pensacola, and those areas way up north. I mean, you guys are good. So my friends up in the Panhandle, you guys are going to be doing all right. You know, the eastern Panhandle, once you go east of Tallahassee, that's where a lot of the big impacts are going to start to begin. Then, of course, areas like Ocala, we're definitely going to be starting to feel that out. A lot of rain starting to go for those regions. It's really that central part of Florida that's really going to get slammed by a lot of rain. You know, a big problem for those low-lying areas, not to mention we've been seeing a lot of rain lately. We had Debbie, that was a while ago, but it dropped a lot of rain, and we've just been getting a lot of rain ever since. And not to mention, I was talking about this to you guys. There's actually a secondary low. That's what's currently bringing us a lot of rain. Now, I don't know if you guys can tell, but it looks like a big figure 8. Y'all see that? So we have a secondary low. This is a weaker trough. This is just bringing a bunch of rain over here towards Florida. This is the main one. That's the hurricane. So we work our way down in time. That's just going to roll its way to the east, continually bring us rain over the next several days. Today being Sunday, going to see rain all day, on and off. We have ourselves Monday, Tuesday, just going to be rainy. And then, of course, Wednesday is the day whenever that hurricane does approach Florida here, which, you know, that's going to be the big day. Once again, is the 9th. We're talking right around the evening time overall for whenever we're expecting that landfall overall. Any relief coming for Phoenix? A little bit off topic, but I don't think we really have anything significant going on up there. Like I said, we're gonna try to keep it on topic here with the region. But yeah, last time I checked, I don't see anything going on up there that's significant for you guys. All of our eyes right now are kind of focusing on this hurricane. But after the hurricane and stuff like that, when we do our normal update stream, feel free to ask me. Okay, like I said, just right now, we just got to get everybody focused on this. We gotta be watching this one closely. But I appreciate it. Let's see here. Let's see. You're welcome, Drew. Thank you once again, Kath. I definitely appreciate that. You know, that helps me out a lot. But anyway, so that's GFS. You know, that's the latest GFS. You know, once again, this is kind of the model that has it going more to the north. Actually, they're towards that southern Big Bend overall. Now, Euro, this is the 06 Zulu. We should have the 12 Zulu Euro coming out here at some point, but you can see that this one has it going like more towards the Tampa Bay. That little crosshair right there where my cursor's at, that's Tampa Bay right there. It's hard to see. And here's like Lakeland, over here's like Orlando, up here's like Ocala. So, you know, that's kind of pointing out some reference points here. But yeah, so that's that. So that's the 06 Zulu. This one shows it much weaker, but you know, the Euro hasn't really been on point this year. It's kind of been underdoing these storms, so it's likely going to be stronger than this. Let's be honest. I mean, this is showing 984 millibars. The storm's already at 988, and it's still got to go through a lot of strengthening by the time it gets here. So this is kind of an outcast for strength. This is more of I think more of an accurate representation for the track, not the strength. With the Euro 06 Zulu run. CMC, now this one's kind of on a mind of its own. This one actually shows it going down really far to the south. This one actually has that storm going up there kind of near Cape Coral, matter of fact. But honestly, I think that's going to be an unlikely track here, to be honest with you guys. I mean, that one kind of has it going to the north and then just kind of booking it almost directly east there last minute. I feel like that's kind of because there's really no other model that really supports that, so it's going to be kind of unlikely that scenario actually plays out there overall. So that is heavily unlikely. Icon, here we go. Here's Icon. Actually, we got the 18 Zulu rolling in, but we're not far enough yet to view it. But here's the 12 Zulu here overall. We are working our way down in time, and you can actually see here that this storm, according to according to Icon here, has the storm going right into the Tampa Bay. I mean, literally right in the Tampa, going directly over Lakeland, going directly over near like Orlando, basically just riding I-4 is what the center of the storm does for this model. So that is a bit concerning, of course. So, you know, this model here shows it literally just running across I-4. Which, you know, that would be pretty nasty. I mean, we got some pretty populated areas on Interstate 4. I mean, like I said, we have Tampa. Tampa is likely going to get hit very, very hard. You need to prepare for it. Of course, we have Lakeland. You know, this is where I'm at. Lakeland's a little more inner, but still, like I said, I mean, that's still going to be in the realm of some strong winds and flooding and all that stuff. So, you know, we can't ignore it out here either. Then, of course, same thing for Orlando overall. Let's see, 5 o'clock update. Yes. Did they put Cat 4? I would not be surprised if they put Cat 4. They sure did. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Okay, so it does get downgraded to Cat 3 before landfall, dude. Wow. Look at that. So at landfall, so right there at landfall, or just slightly before landfall, it's going to be sustained of 120 with gusts up to 150. But, oh man, yeah, Hurricane Center has it now getting up to Cat 4 once it passes north of the Yucatan. 140 sustained gusts up to 165, 145 sustained gusts up to 175 as we pass the Yucatan. And as it starts heading towards Florida, it'll start to weaken a little bit, likely due to a bit of dry air getting into the storm. 140 sustained, gusts up to 165. Just before landfall, 120 sustained, gusts up to 150 still. I mean, shoot, this thing will still be of hurricane strength as we pass over Florida, but it's going to go post-tropical due to dry air literally taking over the entire storm. So what I mean by that is, if we take a look here at some of the models, like the GFS again here, actually, let's go CMC. GFS takes that one. Actually, no. You know what? No, we're gonna do GFS. Let's just take it with the the oh 06 Zulu here. Because, yeah, GFS has been kind of fluctuating a bit. So here's, like I said, this is basically the humidity through the atmosphere. And you can see this bluish color. This right here, this is all the moisture representing throughout bottom to top of the atmosphere, filled with moisture. So this is all moisture here. Now this is all dry air. This is going to be all dry stuff. So as we approach our way towards landfall, this thing does work its way up here towards Florida. You can see that little poke of dry air starting to kind of get into that storm just before and right at landfall. Right here along Florida. So that is actually going to possibly kind of get into that storm there and possibly allow for the storm to, lose a little bit of strength. But don't get me wrong, don't let your guard down, because it is still going to be an absolute whopper of a storm, even once that dry air starts getting into it. But eventually it goes post-tropical due to the fact that that dry air literally just kind of wraps its way around the whole entire system. And as we approach our way here for the 11th, you can see that almost all of that moisture is gone. While the remnants of that low still exists, there's going to be little to no convection going on in that storm due to the fact that we have little to, very, very little amounts of water vapor, low humidity in the storm in general. So, like I mentioned, we're going to go post-tropical. That is why it's going post-tropical, is because of that dry air that's going to be wrapping its way into it. But, like I said, unfortunately, Florida, the storm here, it's going to strengthen. It's going to hit Florida head on. And then as it passes over Florida, it's just going to be like, yeah, I'm done. So, yeah, kind of, a big screw you from nature, basically. But anyways, so that's kind of what's going on there. Just want to go ahead and point that up. And that's why we have that... that's why we have that post-tropical marker there. But as we roll off of Florida, it's still gonna be in hurricane strength. That's the thing, is that these hurricane force winds are gonna be felt probably through a lot of these central sides of Florida. I mean, there's gonna be a pretty good chunk, possibly, depending on where it makes landfall, of hurricane force winds. I mean, those hurricane winds are gonna carry inland too. That's the problem. And so there's going to be possibly widespread wind damage associated with these winds, widespread power outages, likely going to occur for a lot of these areas here, where that storm is making that landfall. That does seem to be once again, a big issue. Do I think it'll be a Cat 5 air Gulf? I don't really think so, honestly. I mean, it really... I don't see a whole lot of support on it. There's a couple models that does suggest the storm may be getting up to Cat 5, but it would definitely not be that strength by the time it reaches Florida. No. So that's good news. But maybe upper Cat 4, seems to be most likely at this point. As we work our way up there, it is theoretically possible that it could be of that magnitude, but personally, I am not buying it right now. I'm not buying it right now. The east coast of Florida here will get Cat 2 winds. Yeah, probably Cat 2, Cat 1 winds could be possible on the eastern side of Florida. So, like I mentioned, we're still kind of working out the strength and the track and everything like that. But, the west central side of Florida, could see maybe Cat 3, Cat 2 force winds. And then the east central side probably will be more like Cat 2, Cat 1 force winds. The storm is going to rapidly weaken as it goes over land, of course. But, like I said, yeah, the heaviest is going to be felt on the western and west central sides of Florida overall. So, regardless, if you're in Florida, you really need to prepare for this, except for my folks up in towards Pensacola, Destin, who's just sitting back in their lawn chairs and just watching it further down south. But for us here on the peninsula, yeah, this is where the real problem arises. So I want everybody to make sure that you, like I said, make sure that you guys are ready for it. Please make sure that you guys got everything, together. Make sure that you all are properly equipped with, food, non-perishable foods. So canned goods, water, bottles of water. Make sure you have, water, canned goods. Make sure those generators are filled up with gas. Get all your important documents, put them together. If you need to evacuate, go ahead and get ready to do so. We do have a state of emergency for basically the entire peninsula here at this point. I think state of emergencies go up towards, some of these upper counties. But yeah, most of the peninsula is literally under a state of emergency right now because of the storm. So if those, those mandatory evacs come out, which I want to say there's already some in effect near some of the west coastal areas. I read something about it earlier, that they got to be out for Monday. But anyways, start leaving on Monday. Just pay attention to the track. The thing could shift maybe a little bit to the north. It could make a northerly track. It could go, a little bit to the south, or it could just kind of uppercut the middle. I mean, it is a possibility, in which, we'll just have to see that. But yeah, regardless, I mean, just my folks along the West Coast, just be ready to evacuate. Make sure you have all your stuff together. Make sure you are prepared. Like I mentioned, we have a couple days left to prepare. Today's Sunday. We got the rest of today. We got Monday, all the day of Monday to prepare. Most of Tuesday night, we're going to likely start to feel some of those tropical storm force winds coming in. Then, of course, Wednesday, that's the big day. And that's when we're going to really feel those hurricane force winds and stuff like that coming across Florida. So just a bit of a heads up there for you guys. Want to just make sure that you guys are ready. Please do not wait till last minute. Please also don't brush it off. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I've been here 50-something years. I've never had a bad hurricane. It just takes one to ruin your day, my friend. I get it. I mean, yeah, some of these storms are worse than others, but how are you going to know? How are you going to know? I will say that this is a very rare track. This does not happen very often. Matter of fact, I think the last time this track occurred was in the 1800s. So it's been a while since something like this has happened. But anyway, so like I said, just please prepare for this. Don't brush it off. Don't wait till last minute. Get the stuff done now, as soon as you can. Because, the longer you wait, the less supplies are going to be available. So supply and demand is crazy on these storms here. While supply is low, demand is extremely high. You need to get to it first. Like I said, everybody needs stuff, and so everybody's going to be going out. So you don't want to wait till last minute to get your stuff. Sorry, I'm just on a bit of a rant here, but I'm just trying to help you. I'm trying to help protect you and just let you guys know that the harsh reality of these storms. So please, just if you can, get that stuff together ASAP. But anyway, so and like I said, we're going to really be feeling those hurricane force winds also rolling its way into central Florida as well. Those winds are going to be rolling through. Asin says, well, I'll be badly impacted. There's a shot that I could be really impacted. I'm here in Lakeland. I live right here in Lakeland. There's a good shot that this thing could come near me. So, I'm kind of somewhat in the middle of the cone. So that's, kind of in where the thing is aiming right now. But, we'll see. We'll see. I'm definitely prepared for it. We got food and water yesterday, so we're good to go. And if it gets bad, I have ways to get out of here. But anyways, I want you guys to do the same thing as well. Absolutely. But anyways, yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. If you haven't already, consider leaving a like, subscribe, and that way we can help reach more people. The way you guys can really help us out is by sharing this on your Facebook wall, your Twitter, just to help get the word out there. The more people we can, bring in here, the more potential lives we could save, and help out, I should say. I'm very happy to say that we have saved many lives on this channel. In which we're going to continue to do that. That is the ultimate goal, is to make sure you guys are staying prepared. What are the possibilities of Tampa getting hit still? Still is a real good possibility. Once again, we have not completely pinpointed where this thing is going to be making that direct landfall. But Tampa is definitely still a good possibility of a direct landfall. It's still kind of not, still kind of not fully known quite yet. Right now the cone of uncertainty goes basically from Cedar Key all the way down towards Marco Island near Naples. So there's quite a big gap here, but I will say this: there's not many models that has it going up here like GFS does, but that's one of the only models I see really going that far north. CMC is one of the only ones I see coming really far down here. Majority of those models has this thing going through the center of Florida here. So that's, more likely the track of this thing. that's why we still have such a big cone, is because some of the models have it going more further south, some of it have it going more north. As of now, majority have it right here in the middle between like Cape Coral and Tampa for the most part. That's kind of where most of the models have this thing going right now. So that's why, you know, we need to prepare. And that's why, you know, if you're along the cone, everybody in the cone, I mean, really needs to prepare for this. And like I mentioned, you know, the effects are not felt where the cone is. That's a big misconception. People think that the cone is where all of those impacts are going to be in. That is not true. That is where the center of the storm, the eye of the storm, could go over. So there's a theoretical possibility that the eye of the storm could go as far north here. So the hurricane would be something like this. That is a possibility. Obviously, take that drawing with a grain of salt. I just kind of doodled it there, but I'm just pointing out something. And you know, the eye could go down as far as here. So the center of the storm could track through here. Center of the storm could track through here. Basically, between here and there, that is where the eye of the storm could go through. Does that make sense? I want to go ahead and clear that up for you guys. The cone is not where the effects are going to be felt. The cone is there to show you where the eye or the center of the storm could go over. Now, like I said, the effects are actually going to be felt outside of the cone as well. You know, we actually have some of those tropical storm force winds, you know, potentially going all the way towards the Keys, Miami, and you see they're not in a cone, you know, so that's what I'm saying. It's like, don't use the cone as where we're going to feel it, because we're going to feel it outside the cone. That's just one thing that I want to point out, that a lot of people, you know, don't really understand very well. Now, the cone is there just to show you where the center, where that part of the storm could go over, okay? Anyways, so let's go hop over here to the latest models. We got that 18 Zulu. Let's see here, 18 Zulu spaghetti plots. So let's pull up Milton. We're gonna hop over here to the spaghetti plots. So that is the latest regarding the spaghetti plots. You can see. So whenever it comes to it, you know, the storm is likely just going to continue going here to the east. You know, kind of just scrape on by the Yucatan. Start to pull up a little bit to the northeast here, and then, you know, kind of make landfall. That middle point is actually just right there near like Sarasota. Then, of course, you know, continue going its way up and then kind of curve back out. At this point, it'll be a post-tropical low because of all that drier infiltration, all of that dry air that's going to be positioned will completely consume that storm. So that low is just going to rapidly die out. There's going to be no more convection. It's just going to be a dead low pressure system, basically. And it's just going to weaken from there on. But, you know, until that's not going to happen until after it leaves Florida. Once it leaves Florida, it's going to go post-tropical because of that dry air. Once it hits Florida, it'll be a hurricane because, well, it's still going to have a lot of moisture and all that stuff going on there. So, anyways, let's see here. But yeah, so like I mentioned, you know, if you guys have any questions, let me know. We can't catch a break. Luckily, the generator is still hooked up. That's good. Yeah, make sure that you're prepared for it. I mean, we just had Helene a while ago. Unfortunately, I mean, some of those western areas like Tampa got hit real hard by Helene, and here's another round for you, unfortunately. So yeah, please be careful out there. Please be prepared. You know, make sure that you guys are ready for this, dude. You know, once again, please consider sharing this as much as you can, just to help to spread the word. You know, send it, you know, through DMs to your friends and family, whatever, just anybody really. That way we can help keep you guys posted. We'll be doing another live stream tonight too at 11 o'clock. It'll be a later live stream for my night owls out there. We'll be doing another live stream for y'all just to help you guys out in general. You know, we care about you. We want to help you guys out. We want to keep y'all prepared, and that's exactly what we're going to do. And we're not going to stop until, well, the storm is literally gone. That's when we're going to stop with the updates and stuff. So once that storm passes away from land and is no longer a concern, that's when those updates are going to stop. But until then, we got a lot of road ahead of us. We got ourselves several days to be watching this thing. Then we got ourselves, you know, Wednesday to be tracking this thing and literally, you know, like I mentioned, watching what it does. Overall, am I evacuating? Maybe. You know, like I mentioned, I'm in Lakeland, but I am in a mobile home, so that's kind of an issue. This place is anchored down to, which it is built for up to Category 3. There's a chance that I won't be seeing Category 3 force winds, but if it gets to the point where I gotta go, I gotta go. I do have plans in place. Yes, I do. I do definitely have plans in place. a lot of those really, the heaviest of the winds are going to be felt along the West Coast. But don't get me wrong, we're still going to be feeling those hurricane force winds, through possibly a good portion of those central portions as well. I mean, this thing's going to be hitting as a hurricane, and it's going to be leaving as a hurricane. So that's kind of the thing here, is that hurricane swath is going to be felt through Central Florida overall. Lakeland has a lot of lakes. Yeah, it, it kind of does, yeah. Let's see here. Let me see. Yeah, I saw that, Johnny, but I'm not taking that too serious right now. I mean, that's pretty far down in time. That's still pretty far down in time. Yeah, so basically Johnny was pointing out that there's the GFS and some of these models have been kind of showing the hints of another hurricane after, but let's just get through this one first. I mean, seriously. That's still not a certainty either because, that's pretty far down in time, for one, and there's a lot of things that could change by then. But yeah, we'll definitely, we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll keep everybody posted. There's that second one. Like I mentioned, that's very far out, so there's no need to be looking out there for it. At 12 days, that's very far out, very far out. So once again, don't take that serious because that's gonna change a lot. It's too far out, man, too far out. Let's see here. Just pray for Florida. Absolutely. Yeah, make sure you say your prayers. Hopefully, like I said, guys, just please don't ignore this storm. It hates me how often I see people saying, "Oh, well, it'll be fine. We'll get through this." I hate that, and how people don't take this serious. I mean, this is a big deal. Even if you're a veteran to Florida, I mean, this is still a big problem for people. And if you don't prepare, it could hit you when you're not ready for it. Especially with this storm, and the really big problem with this one is that it is kind of targeting some pretty populated centers. That's not good. Because like I mentioned, this storm could go near, if not over Tampa, go over Lakeland. Lakeland's also very populated. And of course, Orlando, there's a chance it could just cut through all three of them, It's like, there's some big populations here. And even on those interior portions, like I said, those hurricane force winds are going to be felt even in the central portion of Florida too. Like I mentioned, the storm's going to start, it's going to make landfall as a hurricane, and it's going to leave as a hurricane. So it's literally going to be, a hurricane for quite some time. And it's going to be hurricane throughout its entire pass through Florida. And now, obviously, the inner portions, we don't have coastal problem, which is the main issue with hurricanes. But there still is going to be wind damage, power outages, flooding due to a lot of rain in Central Florida too. So, don't say it's not going to hit us. It's not going to hurt us. Like I said, you don't know that for sure. And the way that it's looking, this is going to really hit hard, even for my interior people. So keep that in mind. This is not just a coastal issue. This is also an issue for literally much of the peninsula. Okay. Anyways, all right, so let's go and hop over here back to the rainfall totals. Like I mentioned, this is the latest guidance we got. This is the newest outlook from the WPC. You guys can see the rain totals on the right here. So this is basically how much rain we're expecting here. So Orlando, Tampa Bay area, we're going to be picking up a good 6 to 8 inches of rainfall out there. That is no joke. That is a lot of rain. I mean, the main part of the peninsula here, look, we're talking a good 4 to 6 inches through most of Florida here. And of course, we do have ourselves a little area towards like Okeechobee, basically where we could see 2 to 4, but that's still a lot of rain even. And especially for some of those lower lying areas. Now, Florida's mostly flat, as you know. It's literally the flattest state in the U.S. Max elevation's like 300 feet, I think. So nothing crazy. But there is still little areas that flood more often than others, in which, like I mentioned, keep an eye on that. 2 to 4 inches, that's still a lot. It still is enough to cause some problems. Jacksonville, picking up a good 4 to 6. Now, areas out there towards like Sarasota, out there a little bit towards like, I was meaning more like Clearwater. You guys could pick up a good 8 to 12. There is that little streak there that does show, that pulling up a good, once again, 8 to 12 inches. That's a lot of rain. That is a lot of rain. Let's see here. What's up? Jess saying, hi, Andrew. I knew you'd be here. How are you? I'm doing good. Hope you're doing good. Perfect Purple says, you're a great weather guy. Thank you. I try my best. Like I said, I might not be the best on the block, but, I definitely do try my hardest to help keep you guys aware and, weather prepared. That's my goal here. Once again, I care about y'all. I want you guys to be weather aware and, ready to take this on. This is just going to be quite a nasty storm. I get it. It is scary. I get it. Trust me. But, try not to, work yourself up too much. I mean, like I said, I'm literally in the middle of this thing here. This thing's coming right at me. But, try not to worry about it. I get it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but, we'll get through this. Just like I said, if you prepare and if you take this serious, you have a much better chance at making this out completely fine. Those preparations do a lot. Preparations are extremely important. And if you ignore that, those are where things go really, really bad. Whenever you ignore these storms and you don't prepare for it and stuff like that, that's when it gets pretty bad. Let's see here. Very informative. Thank you. Like I said, I try my best. I definitely try my best here. Could we have a major hurricane by tomorrow morning? So tomorrow evening, we're expected to be in major hurricane strength. But, the way it's going, the rapid intensification we've been kind of seeing, yeah, don't be surprised. I would not be surprised. I mean, right now we're sustained at 80 already. Central low down to 988 millibars. So it's already pretty hefty. Let's see. Is Lake Wales still in the main track? Let me pull up Lake Wales. Let's see. Lake Wales, Florida. Yeah, you guys are still in the cone. Now, obviously, Lake Wales is inland, but like I mentioned, those hurricane force winds are still going to continue, even into central Florida. This thing, once again, it's going to start as a hurricane. It's going to end as a hurricane. So it's going to be, that hurricane force winds are going to be felt through a lot of central Florida, too. So keep that in mind. So, there's going to be some, possible wind damage, multiple power outages, trees and power lines coming down. That's basically going to be kind of widespread throughout Central Florida. Let's see here. I love living in Florida, but man, it sucks being direct paths. Yeah, I get it. Buck Hunter says, I've been subscribed for a long time. Love your content. Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for being a supporter. Say new hurricane centers. Yeah, we looked at it. It's supposed to be Cat 4 now. Looking better for Ocala. Well, more than likely, you can actually see the cone here. I mean, Ocala is kind of in the top part of the cone. Most of it is south of Ocala. More than likely, that system's going to make landfall south of Ocala. However, the effects are not just felt towards the core. They are felt throughout and around, everything. Like that's what I was mentioning. The cone is there just to show you where the center could go. It still theoretically could go near Ocala, and you're still in the cone there. But the effects are still going to be felt outside of some of the areas in the cone. For example, Key West, Miami, good shot for tropical storm force winds, yet they're not in the cone. Like I mentioned, that's where the center of the storm is going to go. So keep that in mind. That's not where the effects are going to be felt. That is where the center, the core of the storm is going to go over. It could go as far down south as here, or as far up north as here. More than likely, the main density of the models has it going like right in here. This is likely where the thing's going to really shoot through. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes a little bit better sense for you guys. Am I going to go live during the hurricane like the last one? Dude, I'm going to try. I don't know if I'm going to have power. I need to conserve my battery power on my phone too for, like I mentioned, for emergencies. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go live for you guys. I will go live up until, I might do maybe a quick 30-minute live stream during the worst of it, if I even have reception. So like I said, I'll try, but I'm going to be a little bit more hit with this one than I was with the last one. So Helene went up here, of course. I am in Lakeland. And we got tropical storm conditions, mid-level tropical storm. This one's likely going to give us hurricane conditions, possibly, out here in Lakeland. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. It's going to be a little bit worse here. Actually, a lot stronger than Helene was for Lakeland, yes. But in general, this storm, we don't know, other than, that. But still, I mean, like I mentioned, this thing is going to be really hitting some pretty strong, or sorry, pretty populated centers. I mean, like we have Tampa, Lakeland, Orlando, and there's a good shot that it could just go right through all of them. You know, this thing could be an I-4 rider. That is a possibility. You know, that's still not ruled out at this point. I mean, and honestly, I-4, there's I-4 right there. I mean, I-4 is kind of towards the middle of the cone still. So, you know, once again, there is a possibility that, you know, some of, you know, that storm could track between those two. It certainly is possible. Let's see here. Is Leesburg, Florida in the path? Let me pull up Leesburg. Let's see here. Leesburg, Florida. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, you're in the cone. Yeah, so, I mean, regardless, you are going to be feeling the effects of it. I mean, even if, like I said, the storm does decide it wants to go further south, you're still going to feel it, you know? But yeah, no, I would prepare in your area too, you know, just make sure you have all of your, you know, items you need. And once again, here, write this down, okay? Guys, if you don't know how to prepare, if you don't know what to do, pull out a pen and paper or something to write on, and I'm going to tell you this, okay? So I'll give you a second. Just grab your paper, grab your pencil, whatever, or just rewind this video whenever it comes out, you know, whenever it's fully done. But anyways, all right, so a couple things that you do want to have with you. Make sure you have your important documents. Bring them to your safe spot where you're going to be at whenever the storm hits. Bring those, keep those with you. Okay, important documents, social security card, birth certificates, insurance papers. Those are very important. Make sure you have all those together at once. Okay, first aid kit. If there's any injuries, you can treat it on site. Most of those injuries you can treat on site. So you have a first aid kit. If you need to patch yourself up if something happens, worst case scenario, you'll have a first aid kit. Keep that there too. Flashlight, extra batteries. Make sure you have extra batteries. You know, once again, if you have a flashlight that hasn't had their battery changed in a while and you just grab it and it runs out of battery, what are you going to do? So have extra batteries on hand, okay? Of course, optional weather radio, that way you can receive radio updates. That is, you know, that's optional. You don't have to, but it is very helpful. Make sure you have, you know, honestly, some clothes. You know, bring your clothes and, you know, stuff like that. You know, dry clothes to your safe spot. You know, bring those there with you. Obviously, some of the main ones like food and water. You know, make sure they're non-perishable foods, such as canned goods, things that do not go bad and do not need refrigeration that you can still eat out of the can. Have those together as well. And of course, bottled water. Have that, and you know, whatever drink you want, whatever snack you want, bring that with you as well. That's really the main things. Portable chargers, yeah, have those too. Make sure they're charged up as well. Let's see here. What else have we got going on? Yeah, so generators, make sure they're filled with gas beforehand. You know, same thing with your car. Make sure your car's filled up. If you need to, if you're on the coast, you know, boarding up windows could be a good thing. Just trying to kind of give you guys a list here. Also get a can opener. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, make sure you have a can opener. Have a way to open that food. Let's see here. I don't have experience with hurricanes, but let's see what I do with severe weather. It's charge everything and tie stuff down. Yeah, that's good. You know, bring in anything that's outside. You know, anything that's loose outside. You know, like patio furniture, stuff like that. Pat makes a good point. Medicine too. Absolutely. You know, medicine is a very good thing. You know, obviously have that with you. You know, just stuff like that. That is what you really kind of need to have with you in your safe spot. Will Gainesville feel the effects of the hurricane? So Gainesville, let's go ahead and bring up Gainesville here. Let's see, Gainesville, Florida. Bring this up. Yeah, so Gainesville will likely feel some of the effects from the storm here. Once again, I mean, you're still in the cone. More than likely, the storm's going to make landfall south of you. However, once again, the effects are felt outside of the cone. Remember, the cone is where the center of the storm can go, you know. But, yeah, no, Gainesville will definitely still feel some of the effects with the storm. Absolutely. And, you know, once we get those watches, like I said, I think we're going to probably get some tropical storm watches, hurricane watches. Probably going to get those here tomorrow evening, maybe tomorrow afternoon. That's when I basically about 48 hours out is whenever the watches get issued, and then once we hit like 36 hours, that's when the warnings get issued. So we should be getting those watches probably pretty soon. So we'll have to see. Let's see here. Fill a bathtub with water sinking. That's a good point, Retro. Definitely, definitely. Let's see. What impacts can we expect for Fort Lauderdale? Let's see here. So Fort Lauderdale. So obviously you guys are not in the cone, but like I mentioned, that does not mean that that's where the effects are going to be felt inside the cone. No, Fort Lauderdale actually has a chance at potential tropical storm force winds. I don't think you're going to be in the realm of anywhere near the hurricane force winds, which is good due to the fact that the storm is going to be more to your north. But, you know, there is a possibility that we could see some tropical storm force winds out there. I mean, the wind field's pretty big. As you can see, you know, 30-knot wind barbs there. That is sustained at 30 knots. That is within, like, low-end tropical storm force. I would count on tropical storm conditions. But honestly, you know, you're kind of far to the south where, you know, it's not going to be hurricane conditions for you. Let's see here. Robert says, thank you, sir. I appreciate your time that you share with us. And all the knowledge you have is always dependable. Be safe. I'll call my son in Leesburg, Florida, and tell him to be alert. You're very welcome, Robert. Very, very welcome. And yeah, let him know. That would be great. You know, just anything you can do to help out, you know, is good. So yeah, let him know. You're very welcome, my friend. How's the forecast for Orlando? We're expected to get a lot of rain. Yes, indeed. So Orlando is actually forecasted to get quite a bit. Here's the latest WPC forecast. You can actually see Orlando up there in that light shade of orange. So if we color table that, 6 to 8 inches. Good 6 to 8 inches out there by Orlando is expected, according to the WPC. Now, locally higher amounts is certainly possible. Slightly north of Orlando, there's actually a region of 8 to 12. So definitely expect some flooding out there in Orlando. It is likely going to happen. But remember, this is also over the period of the next couple of days. You know, today we have a lot of rain. Tomorrow we're going to have more rain. Like I said, Tuesday, we're likely going to have more rain. And, of course, Wednesday, that's the main part. The heaviest of that is going to be there for Wednesday. Now, with the winds, like I mentioned, you know, we still cannot rule out hurricane force winds towards Orlando. Just due to the fact that the storm is going to be a hurricane at landfall, wherever it makes landfall, and leave as it'll still be hurricane strength as it leaves too. So it's going to cut straight through Florida as a hurricane and remain one until it gets to the other side. So that's the thing. So we're going to have this band, you know, depending on where it makes landfall. If it makes landfall further south, it'll be, you know, more south. But wherever it makes landfall is very important. But those hurricane force winds are going to dig inland and go from one side to the other. Okay. So know that. And in Orlando, theoretically possible that we could see some hurricane force winds. It is certainly possible. I'm in Tampa. How bad could it get? So Tampa could be in kind of a very concerning area. So we're likely going to have surges towards Tampa regardless of where this thing goes. So know that. Yeah, Tampa's going to probably get heavy surges. There's no surge map yet due to the fact that there still is a bit of uncertainty with that. But yeah, so keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to rain, a good 8 to 12 inches throughout a lot of Tampa Bay, you know, near like Clearwater, stuff like that could, you know, pick up a really good amount of rain out there. And of course, winds, yeah, we could be really hit hard with the strong winds out there. A. Martinez, thank you, dude, for the $1 super chat. I appreciate that, man. Greatly appreciated. Definitely helps out a bunch. Thank you, dude. That's very, very sweet of you. Big shout out goes to A. Martinez for the donation. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Let's see, what impacts could we see in Plant City? So Plant City is actually not far from me. Actually, you're a little bit to my west. Plant City here. You guys definitely need to watch this too. You know, Plant City is obviously not on the coast, but you're not far from it. So those hurricane wind, you know, those winds are not going to be able to die down as much by the time it reaches you. You know, once again, if this thing does kind of worst case scenario and goes right over, if not right near Tampa, you know, like I said, you know, when it comes to it, those winds are not going to be weakening that much by the time they get there. So you're likely still going to be experiencing some very strong winds. And, you know, there is a good shot that you could have hurricane force winds. Absolutely. It definitely seems like a real good possibility. This is not as bad as Andrew, is it? So I wouldn't go that far. You know, obviously Andrew was a compact little storm, and it hit Miami, which was a very populated center, as you know. The problem is that this storm is bigger than Andrew. This storm is hitting near Tampa, near Orlando, some big populated centers, which could make it worse than Andrew in that way. It's kind of hard to compare the two. because they're just two different storms. You know, they're this one's bigger. This one now stronger. We don't think it's going to be stronger than Andrew at landfall, because Andrew is a Cat 5 at landfall. This storm is probably going to be in the realm of Cat 3 at landfall. So, you know, like I mentioned, it's it's kind of hard to compare those two. You know, see where I'm going with that? Let's see here. Looks like Jacksonville could get hit. What do I think? So, Jacksonville, yeah, I do think you guys could feel some of the impacts out there in Jacksonville. Absolutely. We're still kind of waiting to see what the full-on track is. I mean, here's GFS here. You can actually see GFS really has, I mean, Jacksonville probably well within the realm of tropical storm force winds is a possibility. Is this going to be the worst Tampa's gotten in the past 50 years? There is a good shot. Like I mentioned, you know, Tampa, it's very rare, extremely rare for Tampa to get hurricanes like head on. And in this case scenario, we can't rule it out. I mean, obviously Tampa got really bad surges and flooding from Helene, you know, a week or so ago. This one, unfortunately, has the possibility to be even worse than Helene was for Tampa. Not in general, but just for Tampa itself. This could be much worse, unfortunately. You know, bigger surges, stronger winds, absolutely. You know, once again, just kind of determines on where it's making landfall. But it seems like a lot of the models really want that thing to be making landfall between Tampa and out there, you know, a little bit further south, you know. Kind of between, like, you know, Cape Coral region and, you know, slightly there towards, like, Tampa. More than likely, you know, obviously, here's the cone. The center could, you know, go down as far south as, you know, like Marco Island, which is unlikely, but it's possible. Same thing up as far north, you know, towards, like, Williston area, just west of Williston. More than likely, like I mentioned, the majority of the models has this thing making landfall in these regions here. You know, there's a really good shot that a lot of the central part of Florida could really be hit overall. So, but that's that. I watched 2 lives of people in the path and no idea. So, yeah, like I mentioned, you know, nobody's going to know fully of where the thing's going to make landfall due to the fact that models are not perfect. You know, there is models are only a tool. They're not used to be approximate, you know. Like I said, the center of the storm, obviously, if we knew approximately where it was going to go, we would have those warnings. We'd have everything out right now, letting you guys know. But we don't. Unfortunately, technology is only so good. But we do have a good understanding of what we can expect. Once again, we are expecting this thing to be a major hurricane upon landfall. Likely Category 3, sustained right around 120 miles an hour. I mean, it's going to be pretty hefty overall. And like I said, the center could go anywhere from here to there, from Naples up to the Big Bend region, you know, the bottom part of the Big Bend. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, there certainly is still some uncertainty, and that's why they call it the cone of uncertainty overall. Let's see, what category is Milton as of now? She's a Category 1 right now. Milton is a Cat 1 hurricane. Let's go and hop over here to the latest Hurricane Center vitals. There you go. So Milton continues to rapidly intensify. Hurricane watch issued for the northern coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. So we have currently sustained winds of 85. Oh, wow, that pressure sank. Holy cow. The first update where it became a hurricane, it was at 988. It's now at 983. So pressure is dropping quick. That is indicating a strengthening system. Absolutely. Goodness. Yeah, so it's currently a kind of a mid kind of upper level Cat 1. Yeah, I mean, it's picking up quick. Any chance the cold front could pick up from north, can weaken it lower than a 3? So we have dry air that we're watching that could, you know, cause the storm to maybe lose a bit of strength as we kind of approach Florida. Unfortunately, a lot of the models have that happening like once the storm makes landfall. So weakening the storm before landfall, it'll be a tight schedule. You know, because once we approach land, most of the models have that dry air starting to kind of poke into it overall. Let's see here. Thought they said it would be a 3. It is expected to be a 3 at landfall. Still, however, now it is actually forecasted to be a Cat 4 as we pass the northern Yucatan. So yeah, it's going to be pretty hefty, but it's going to weaken a little bit as we approach our way here towards Florida. So that's that's good news. But we'll definitely. It's still going to be a heavy hitting storm regardless. Honestly. What's the chance that a tornado will spawn in Plant City? I mean, obviously, tornadoes is going to be a big issue for Florida as that storm approaches. Remember, tornadoes only happen really on the eastern side of the storm. That's where you have your veering winds, your strongest veering winds, your instability. All that's positioned on the right-hand side of the storm. So once we make landfall, and once that eye wall passes wherever it makes landfall, that western side is not really, as we call the clean side, not really where the tornadoes happen. It's on the right-hand side. So, whenever the storm's like, say, off the coast, getting ready to make landfall, wherever it does, that tornado threat will be persistent through Florida at that point. Now, say, once that hurricane, goes through the central of Florida, wherever it does, that western side, no longer under a tornado threat. Does that make sense? So the western side's clean for tornadoes, and the right-hand side's the dirty side. That's where the tornadoes happen. And so, before landfall and at landfall, that's where probably the main tornado threat is going to be overall. Let's see here. How's Middleburg, Florida? Let's see here. Let's take a look at Middleburg. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my pen here. Let me take a look at that for you. You said Middleburg, Florida. Here we go. All right, so you're in a cone. Now you're up in the northern part of the cone. So, I honestly say it's a good shot. You're going to get tropical storm force winds overall. That is kind of what we're looking out there for. It really is a good shot at seeing like tropical storm force winds and stuff like that. Hurricane force winds, honestly, I believe are probably going to be more to your south. That we're still kind of working out the cone of where it's the track here, I should say, of where it's going to go. But yeah, you're far inland too. The storm would definitely weaken a bit by the time it gets there. Honestly, I would just count on like tropical storm force winds right now. Yeah, overall. Honestly, I do think that we're going to have potential hurricane force wind, along the central side of Florida. A lot of those areas are probably, even the inland portions, are going to be experiencing hurricane conditions, because of the fact that the storm's not going to go sub-hurricane over land. It's going to remain a hurricane from the Gulf Coast to the Atlantic coast. So that's kind of the problem. Let's see. What's the chance that I will go down the line in the center of the cone? That's kind of the greatest probability as of now. Like I mentioned, the majority of models currently, the main hurricane models, the majority of them have the landfall right in here. There's a couple models that go further south. There's a couple that go a little bit to the north. We kind of need to work that out. As we get closer, that cone is going to shrink a bit. But majority of the models, as you can see from the hurricane models, look at here in the spaghetti models, most of them are going to be between like Tampa and Cape Coral. Let's hop over there real quickly. We'll take a look at the latest hurricane models. So this is the latest and greatest. You can see that there's still a bit of a spread over central Florida. So like regarding the center here, it's still kind of a big gap. Could go as far north up here. As far down south as here, but either or. I mean, either scenario. If it goes south, what that pink one shows, or north as that red one shows. I mean, regardless, there's still going to be really heavy impacts along Central Florida. I mean, that's just basically a given at this point. So we just need to prepare for it. Make sure you guys are ready. Let's see here. What about Palm Harbor? Let's pull up Palm Harbor for you, man. Let's see, Palm Harbor. If you guys could double tap that screen, it'd be greatly appreciated. Just help spread awareness. Yeah, Palm Harbor really has a shot at getting hit pretty good. We're going to have to monitor the storm surge. Right now, we don't know how strong the storm surge is going to be, but there's likelihood it's going to be above 15 foot. The way that some of the models have been talking. Like GFS shows like 17, 18 or greater foot. Right around there is what the GFS has been showing us. We're still kind of unknown, though. That's still kind of unknown, due to strength and track uncertainties. But yeah, it could easily break like 10, maybe 15 foot surges out there in some of those regions. But like I mentioned, for you specifically, we'll have to see. It'll be a different scenario if the storm makes landfall north of you versus it making making landfall south of you. So it's like I said, there's still that's where the cone of uncertainty is, and where the center could go. It's still can't be really known. Does that make sense? How northeast Florida, like Jacksonville, handle it? So probably more in the tropical storm force realm up there towards like Jacksonville. You guys are absolutely going to be feeling it though. You're going to notice something's going on. When it comes to rainfall and stuff, let's go ahead and bring up the rainfall projections here. Yeah, Jacksonville's still going to get a good amount of rain out there. I mean, right now we're projecting in Jacksonville to be within 4 to 6 inches of rain. So really good shot, really good shot out there for quite a bit. So flooding will be a potential issue. Let's see. Should I evacuate Lake County? Let's see where Lake County is. Lake County, Florida. Here we go. Okay. I don't think there we need to evacuate out here. You're far inland. Most of those evacuations are for like people who live on the coast for like surges. That's where the main issue is. The surges are the worst part of the storm. Now, don't get me wrong. You're still likely going to experience some really strong winds, so prepare for a very windy storm. Depends on its track, but potential hurricane winds could be possible. Now, a lot of Florida's houses, especially these inland this far, could handle the storm. It's just there could be some damages occurring. But I don't think it's needed. You don't need to evacuate out there. I don't know. Now, if you're saying that you're kind of more towards like the coasts, like near Sarasota, between like Palm Harbor, some of those regions, I would consider it. But for where you're at, I think you're good. But just prepare for a heck of a windy storm, okay? Definitely rainy too. Keep that in mind. Is it a potential Cat 4 making landfall? So, at the point where we make landfall, we're only 10 mile an hour short from a Cat 4. If the storm becomes stronger than what we were expecting, that means it could hold its strength a little longer, in which it cannot be ruled out. Like I said, as of now, we're expecting Category 3 at landfall, but I can't tell you no, because that is still a real possibility. Don't be surprised if it does get to Cat 4 at landfall. But like I said, that's still something we're not too sure on. As of now, we're expecting Cat 3. Okay. Let's see here. I'm in, is it Inverness? And expecting some pretty bad weather. Well, be careful out there, my friend. Yeah, like I said, we'll be tracking this thing once it happens too. By the way, guys, if you guys could hit that subscribe button, it'd be greatly appreciated. Once again, that'll help the YouTube algorithm in terms of help spreading the word and everything like that. If you guys could also share this on like your Facebook page or whatever, it'd be very beneficial and it will help out a lot. Help getting that word out there. That's all that matters, In my opinion, what's the best case scenario for Deltona? Oh, let's see here. Let's take a look at Deltona. Deltona, Florida. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, you're kind of on the eastern side. So best case scenario for Deltona would be the storm tracking south towards like Cape Coral. Even then, you'd still feel it. Regardless, you're gonna feel it. Yeah, but the best scenario for you would be the storm to go further south than where the center is currently expected to go. Once again, majority of models has this thing making landfall right in here. Like I mentioned, it's just kind of let's see. Supposed to leave for a cruise in 2 weeks from Tampa. Kind of nervous. Well, when it comes to it, Amanda, 2 weeks from now, there's a lot that can change. We'll just have to see how the effects are felt. This could be a bad one. Yeah, it's looking like it could be very, very nasty, unfortunately. Definitely going to be a heavy hitter, unfortunately. Let's see. I'm in Miami, but I have my plane ticket on standby. I hate the sounds of those winds, and I'm worried about tornadoes. I'm in Hollywood, Florida. Gotcha. Here, let's pull up Hollywood, Florida. Maybe I can help ease that a little bit for you. Just to check it out and see where you're at. Okay, so honestly, you're not in that bad a shape out there. I'm not gonna lie with you. So the worst of that storm is going to be north of you. In fact, like I said, the hurricane force winds out of this storm is probably, like I said, we don't know this for sure, but depends on the track, of course. Hurricane force winds are going to be more likely towards the central side of Florida, and you're on the southeastern side, so you're kind of, you're in a better situation here overall. Landfall day is Wednesday, my friend. But yeah, for that area out there, like near Fort Lauderdale. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to get impacted. There is a good possibility that we could get, tropical storm conditions out there. But honestly, I think you're good. I think you're going to be relatively fine, away from the heavy impacts. Now, with that being said, though, there's going to be a lot of rain still. Your main thing is honestly flooding that I'd look out for. You're going to notice a bit of winds, but your area has been hit much harder in the past than what this storm is forecasted to. Obviously, you're up there near Miami, basically, but you're in the same realm of seeing right around 4 to 6 inches of rainfall. Okay, so just the main thing for you is just look out for rain. That's going to be the main thing overall. Let's see here. You're very welcome, my friend. Let's see. What about Jacksonville? Yeah, so Jacksonville is going to be seeing a good 4 to 6 inches of rainfall out there. We're going to see a good potential for some flooding, up in some of those regions. I mean, that is still a lot of, a lot of rain. Absolutely. Now with the winds, probably within the realm of tropical storm force as of right now. Once again, if it takes a very far northerly track, could be a little stronger. But once again, right now the average is near Tampa Bay, unfortunately. So we'll have to just see. Let's see here. Hillsborough, Pinellas, Polk, Hernando, Citrus, all windy. Yeah, those are going to be some heavy hit counties. Let's see. So what category is it going to, before it makes landfall? So it's going to be, as of right now, we're expecting the thing to be right around Category 3 strength at landfall, unfortunately. Just before landfall here, which is going to be for like the afternoon to evening of Wednesday, we're going to be right in the realm of 120 sustained with gusts up to 150. So, no, we're not expecting Cat 5 landfall. No, it's highly, it's not going to do that. It's not going to be a Cat 5 at landfall. There is some limiting factors that will keep it from being that strong. Now, at some point, it could get into upper Cat 4 strength, not before it hits Florida, before it hits Florida, but not at Florida. The chances of it being its strongest is going to be once it passes just north of the Yucatan Peninsula out here. And, of course, it's going to weaken a bit once we get to Florida due to some drier air. See, Larry says it's not going to be that bad. Overhype. Yeah, you say that now, buddy. You just wait. I mean, you think you know everything with this? No, dude. Those coastal areas have a really big threat here. You need to take this serious. And that's what I'm saying. People like him are the reason. It's just, dude, really? You gotta take this serious regardless. I mean, you might think you're tough and all, but seriously, man, these storms are a huge problem. In terms of winds, in terms of storm surge, stuff like that. This is not overhype. And I hate it whenever people say stuff like that. It's just, get him out of here. I hope you take it serious, man. I really do. Let's see here. Hoping it doesn't go north. Yeah. So once again, more than likely the storm here is going to be there, maybe more towards like the west central coast there. Let's see here. Larry says it's the whole state. Well, a lot of the state's going to be feeling this pretty good. Once again, we're going to be seeing this thing in the realm of Cat 3 strength. Right as we approach landfall there. And remember, it's going to be a hurricane from the Gulf Coast to the Atlantic coast here. So, once again, that's that. Larry says, don't be nasty to me. I'll cry about it, buddy. I'm getting him out of here. We don't need people like him not taking this serious because, like I mentioned, I mean, this is a really big deal. This is a really big deal, unfortunately. I mean, this needs to be taken seriously, I mean, this is life-threatening stuff here. See, I looked out for Helene in inland Citrus County. Yeah, no, it kind of grazed a lot of those, those western sides there. It was really bad for the Big Bend. Now, luckily, we didn't have that many populated areas up in the Big Bend, but this one here, this one kind of more towards populated areas. Like I said, we have Tampa, Lakeland, Orlando that could be kind of swept through. Does make it a little bit more concerning. Be prepared for the worst, hope for the best. Absolutely. Absolutely. What's the red thing? So this is a cone. So basically this is where, this is what we call the cone of uncertainty. So the eye, or the center of the storm, could track as far down south as over here. So the core could track down as far down south as over here, or as high up north as up here. So, the center of the storm could make landfall, in reality, right in these areas here. But the main density of models has it like right in here for that landfall potential. That's where more than likely it's going to be. We're going to, as we continue to get closer and each advisory comes out, that cone is going to start shrinking. And you guys are going to realize that until we get to the point of the storm. But the middle of the storm right now is like right in here. That's a good shot of it making landfall right in here. 150-mile-an-hour winds are deadly. Absolutely. Like I said, we're going to possibly have some of those gusts upon landfall up to 150. Unfortunately, that's going to be a possibility. There's no storm surge map right now. Currently, there is no storm surge map at the moment overall. So, whenever that becomes available, we'll let you guys know. There still is a little bit of uncertainty with that. There is, so like the GFS and all, was suggesting over 15-foot storm surge, under 20. That was when I was actually looking at that earlier this morning. It was showing like 15-foot storm surge, but once again, that's, still a little early. I really want to wait and see once those official maps come out, because I don't like to make assumptions like that. Whenever the official maps comes out, those are the ones we got to go off of. Okay, so whenever that's available, like I said, we'll let you know immediately. We'll let you know with the immediate update. Let's see, what will the gusts be in Hillsborough County? Let's take a look, man. So let's see, Hillsborough County, Florida. Here we go. Hillsborough County. Okay, so this is up here in Tampa. So honestly, it really, it could be pretty hefty. Like, once again, it depends on where the thing makes landfall. If it makes landfall south of you, your winds are going to be much lighter than if it was to make landfall right next to you. Say worst case scenario, the storm made a Tampa landfall, you would be possibly seeing some wind gusts of 130 or greater. Unfortunately, yeah, like I mentioned, it would be a much better scenario if it goes south of you. I mean, the bad thing is, and the thing that I don't like, is that this part of the west coast of Florida is very dense. It's very populated here. So, of course, you have Tampa, and then you got like Siesta Key, Sarasota, Port Charlotte, Fort Myers, Naples. These areas are in the cone here. I mean, those are some pretty high populated areas. Not to mention, a big density map here is like this. Florida is like extremely dense in these areas here. So, and like I mentioned, with the storm making landfall anywhere in here, that's a big problem. It's a big problem. And, with the possibility of it making landfall near Tampa and then kind of going around I-4, that could also make, areas like Orlando really feel those effects. And once again, that hurricane force winds is not just going to be for the coast. That's likely going to go through the state. By the time that the storm hits western Florida, we're going to be right around Category 3. But once we get to the eastern side, we're going to be probably within Category 1 realm. Maybe upper Cat 1 at that point. Let's see here. Is there any way to see potential hurricanes forming again in the Gulf after the passes? Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, I keep a close eye on this for a while. So thank you for trying to save people and give information that's so important. God bless you. You're very welcome, my friend. No problem. Like I said, that's all I care about here. It's just making sure you guys are aware, make sure you guys are prepared. Like I mentioned, whatever system happens in the States, we're always going to be covering it. Like I said, unfortunately, I'm in myself. Like I said, I'm here in Lakeland, so I'm kind of in some of the heat here, it looks like. So whenever the time comes for landfall, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do any live streams due to the fact that I'm going to be possibly associated with it. So I'm going to try my hardest. I really am. I'm going to be directly involved in this one as well. Did I see the new GFS? What, the 18 Zulu? Did it come out? Here, let's pull this up here. 12, we have the 12. 18. Oh, here we go. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. Yeah, it seems like the GFS has been wanting this thing to go a lot more further north. This one kind of wants it to go towards the Big Bend. I've noticed. We'll have to see how that goes. Remember, we do have a big ridge of high pressure positioning up here in the southeastern country. So it really comes down to how strong that high is, where it's positioned. But I will say, this is one of the only models that really has this thing going into the Big Bend here. Let me pull up Spaghetti again. Let's go Milton, and then we'll pull up the latest Spaghetti. This is the 18 Zulu Spaghetti. And you can see that there's really not a lot that goes into the Big Bend. You know, majority of that density there, let's zoom in a bit. Majority of that density of the models here has that landfall, you know, in that point I was pointing out for you guys. You know, the west central coast of Florida is most likely. Yum Spaghetti. Yeah, it does sound pretty good. But yeah, so yeah, I mean the main hurricane models has it going, you know, between like Tampa and like Sarasota and, you know, some of those regions out there, you know. So we'll definitely have to see. Let's see. Where do I find open source tools like this? Is this model yours? No, this is publicly available data. Go to tropicaltidbits.com. I would recommend that you study the models and know how to use them before you make assumptions. That's one big disclaimer, because you're going to see some models go crazy and some of them show some things that are not going to happen. You just got to know how to process the models, if that makes sense. But yeah, this site's called tropicaltidbits.com. It'll give you the information. It also gives you cool info like Hurricane Hunter. Speaking of, let's take a quick little peek at the recon. Oh, they just took off from Lakeland. Oh, that's right. They did a 4 o'clock launch. They took off from Lakeland at 4. And they're heading on into the storm here. Cool. I think we got another mission too. One that took off from Gulfport, Mississippi, it looks like. And we got another one that finished. Yeah, they're heading back here. They did 2 sweeps in the core. Yeah, pressure is down to 986 there. What should I be expecting and preparing for in most in Plant City, wind, gust, rain? Both. Yeah, both winds and rain. So Plant City, like I said, you know, us being potentially right near that eye wall could give us some real strong winds. So I would definitely prepare for, you know, definitely prepare for the strong winds. You know, expect hurricane conditions overall and stuff like that. And of course, with the rain here, let's see. I think we're in the realm of like 6 to 8, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, exactly. So that little light orange area. So you're like right there. You're right on the edge of 4 to 6. But that's 6 to 8 here, 4 to 6, 8 to 12. And we got a couple areas off the coast, but that's just, that rain's just going to go in the water. That doesn't mean anything. So it doesn't matter what all that does. It doesn't matter what this does. It's that we need to look out for. But yeah, for your area, it's going to be right around 6 to 8 inches. Orlando, same thing, 6 to 8. Tampa Bay. Inner areas like Clearwater could see, or sorry, some of the inner portions of like, you know, like near Clearwater and stuff like that could see a good 8 to 12 inches out there. It's already getting windy here. Yeah, it is getting a little windy. Yeah, we've here. Let me pull it up. I have a mesonet. I'm gonna show you guys something real quick. This is actually my weather station data. I have Lakeland, Florida. So this is where my data's at. So you can see my wind chart. We did have some pretty strong winds up to like 11 miles an hour. Nothing too big. So I'm going to have some live data. By the way, this is not your normal weather station. I'm going to show you guys what I did. That's my station. Yeah, you can see it's not like an average weather station. This is a scientific grade station. So I'm going to be getting some really good data here with this. Let's see here. Windy here in Plant City. Yeah, it's definitely a little windy over here in Lakeland too. But anyways, all right, you guys. Well, if you guys have any questions, we're probably going to roll off here soon. I'm going to go ahead and get me some dinner. I'm getting a little hungry. So if you guys haven't already, consider leaving a like, hitting that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated. Once again, Kathy, thank you so much once again for the donation on Cash App. I really appreciate that. Like I said, that helps me out a ton. If you guys did want to support what we do have that pinned comment there if you guys want to check that out. Once again, I'm not asking for anything. I'm just saying if you would like to support us and what we do, that is a way to do that. That way that we can continue to keep going with y'all. Once again, these programs definitely helps pay for them too, so I appreciate that. But once again, everybody, just thank you for being here. All that we're here for is just to help keep you guys weather aware. We're going to go live again at 11 o'clock p.m. It's going to be a late update, so for my my night owls out there, we'll be live at 11 o'clock p.m. We'll have a new update coming in from the Hurricane Center around that time. We'll see about another earlier update. I just want to get as much information as I can out there, but I'm definitely going to go live here at 11. Okay. See, I've subscribed. Thank you so much. You're very welcome, my friend. No problem. Like I said, if you guys have any final questions before I roll off here, let me know. If you guys could. One of the things I really want to ask you, if you guys could, is, share this as much as possible. Send it to your friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, whatever, just to help get the word out there. Or put it on your Facebook wall, stuff like that. So, or Twitter, whatever. Just help us spread the word if you could, and it would be much, much appreciated. And let's see, we want to make landfall. So we're expecting landfall somewhere between the afternoon and the evening here of Wednesday the 9th. So as of right now, so this is 2 p.m. for Wednesday the 9th, just off of the coast of Florida. So sometime in the afternoon, evening. It's been kind of, flopping back and forth between the evening and the afternoon for the last couple updates. So, but anyways, all right, everybody, going once, going twice. Any final questions? We'll be here. Line goes through my house. It's pretty close to me too. Like I said, I'm out here in Lakeland, so it's pretty close. Let's see, what's this? This is a big storm getting ready to hit Florida. Like I said, a little bit of a recap for you guys. Whenever it comes to, it's a bug on my screen. Whenever it comes to it here, the storm, once again, landfall could be between Marco Island up to the region here of Cedar Key. I mean, it's a pretty broad spectrum. However, majority of the models have it making landfall within the regions here between Spring Hill and Cape Coral. More than likely, I think the storm is going to be making landfall between those areas, based off of continually model support and everything like that. And like I said, with the strength here overall, we're going to be having potential upper level category 3 force here at landfall, right around 120 sustained currently, so constant winds of 120 with gusts up to 150 up there towards that eye wall will be some of the strongest winds. And of course, flooding here. One last good little look at the flooding map before we head off here, which we'll go ahead and bring it up here for you. Orlando, Tampa Bay, we definitely could be picking up a good 6 to 8 inches overall. Let's see here, overall we do have ourselves 8 to 12, kind of there towards the western side of Tampa Bay, near Clearwater and stuff. North of Orlando we could pick up 8 to 12. Miami 4 to 6. Key West could see a good 4 to 6, maybe locally 6 to 8. The majority of Florida could easily see 4 to 6 inches, which is a lot of rain regardless. So there's going to be a lot of rain. It's definitely going to be a heavy hitter, both with the precipitation as well as the winds. And, of course, surges will be a big problem with the storm, too. Once again, we're still not sure on the surge because, there's still a bit of uncertainty. But the surge map will be coming out here once those watches and those warnings come out, more than likely. So we'll probably get that more on Monday, I think. Tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll probably have another surge map, or we'll have the surge map. Didn't they just get hit? Yeah, we did. We got hit pretty good up here in the Big Bend, the last storm, Helene. It's still really impacted some of the western side of Florida, like Tampa Bay. They got flooded out. This storm, unfortunately, is coming right near, if not right over Tampa, which is going to be a problem. So Helene, the last storm, did something like this. Well, this storm's going to be doing something like this. So we're kind of crossing paths here overall. Jonathan, do not self-promote, dude. Seriously, yeah. See, Tim's dropping here yeah, it's hasn't really warmed warmed up that much today. Let's see here. I live in Cape Coral. We don't need another direct hit like Ian. Yeah, I hear you, Rick. I get it, man. But all right, everybody. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks for joining. You guys take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night. Once again, we'll be live again at 11 o'clock p.m. for another tropical weather update. We'll have new information, new model data, stuff like that coming out by then. But alrighty, everybody. If you haven't already, consider subscribing, leaving a like. Most importantly, share this with your friends and family. Put this on your Facebook wall, Twitter, if you guys could, just to help spread the word. You know, the more people we can reach, the more people we can help out. And potentially more lives could be saved here. That's the main goal here, is to keep everybody safe. But alrighty, everybody. Well, thank you for joining. I deeply appreciate y'all's support. Once again, Kath, thank you so much for the Cash App donation. I really appreciate that, my friend. And alrighty, everybody. We'll catch y'all later. You guys take care. See ya later on. Peace out, my friends. Catch you in the next update at 11 p.m.